Welcome to lesson 7.24, looking at reducing fractions. Really what we're looking at today is combining some different ideas of factoring with primes, and then also how we can utilize this in a useful skill to help us reduce fractions before multiplying. So that's what we want to look at today. So we start with what we would call a larger equation. Our larger equation, of course, fraction. That's the word I plan to use. A larger fraction. And our larger fraction, we want to be able to reduce this down into prime factorization. To save us a little time in our video, I have gone ahead and done that for us so we can understand the breakdown that's going to happen here. So 420 breaks down to 2 times 2 times 3 times 5 times 7, where 1000 breaks down into 2 times 3 times 5 times 5 times 7. And so we have this breakdown of factors. Right, and if you don't believe me, you can go ahead and multiply those numbers together real quickly on your calculator and double check my math. Now, if my math is way wrong, the concept we're going to look at here still applies. So now that we've broken this down, we want to simplify it. To simplify, we're going to find things that are the same on the top and the bottom. Right? So I can start by saying, okay, this 2 and this 2 are the same. Right? There's a 2 and 2. And suddenly we have this little fraction, 2 over 2, which of course equals 1. Right? From here we can start circling other things, right? These ones match up real nice. There's another one. There's another one. And they don't have to line up directly on top of each other, but they do have to pair up like this. And so we have 3 and 3. And so in the end, what are we left with, right? This became 1, this became 1, this became 1, this became 1. And so in the end, I'm left with a 2 on the top and a 5 on the bottom. And so we have this process that helps us to reduce fractions in a very, very quick way. So how does this apply to multiplying fractions? Right? When multiplying fractions, we have this sweet little dot here, and this sweet little dot means multiply. But what we could really do here is we could take our fraction bar and we could extend it, and then we could put our multiplication symbol here and here, because that's really the process that we're going to run through. We're going to take the numerator times the numerator and the denominator times the denominator. Now because of this, we can start looking for things that are similar. Right? I can take the 9 and I'm going to break it down into primes. So I'm going to take it to a 3 and a 3. So really now my problem says 3 times 3 times 2 up on the top. And on the bottom, I could go all the way to primes, right? But now I know kind of what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a 3, and a 2. Right? And so I'm going to go ahead and break it down into a 2 like this. And I know that equals 8. Right? And because there isn't an 8 up here, and because I realize that there aren't more 2's on the top, I'm not going to break down my 8. Now, let's say there was a second 2 here. All right, now I'm going to break down my 8 into another set of 2's, so I can eliminate that, right? But because they're not there, I can keep it in this factored form like that. And so now on top, I have 3 times 3 times 2, and on the bottom, I have 2 times 8 times 3. Okay, let's match things up. I got a 3 here, I got a 3 here, cross them out, that equals 1. All right, I got a 2 here, got a 2 here, cross them out, that equals 1. And in the end, in this case, I'm left with what I need for an answer. I get an answer of 3/8. Let's rewind this a little bit now. Because it's not going to look like that. Right? We know what our answer needs to be, but now let's break it down as if it looks like this. Now we have 3 times 3, right? And we got our 2 times our 8, right? Very often it looks like this. Okay, so now we start eliminating things, right? 3, 3, right? Cross it out. That leaves a 1 here, right? 2, 2, cross them out. That leaves a 1 here. Now we understand where this comes from. We have a 3/8, and we're multiplying by a 1 over 1. In other words, a 1. And of course, we get an answer of 3/8. And so both processes get us to the same answer. Why did I show you the second way? I showed you the second way because sometimes our second fraction or our first fraction doesn't eliminate into a nice 1-to-1 number. Sometimes there's leftovers on both sides. All right, let's take a look at this example to see how that might happen. All right, so we got this idea, right? We could draw a line straight across to help us understand it, but I'm going to leave it separate this time so we can really see where all the numbers are coming from. Okay. All right, I want to start looking for different things. I'm going to break this down into a 2 and a 4 this time, right? I see a 4 here, so I'm going to hope that I've broken it down enough. All right, I'm going to take my 9, I'm going to break this down into a 3 and a 3. I'm going to take my 10, I'm going to break that down into a 2 and a 5, like that. All right. So now I can start looking for things that are the same. We already identified the 4, right? So this 4 and this 4, right? Even though it's going across not 1 problem 2, right? We got to imagine this straight line like that across here. So I can go all the way across 2 different fractions. Right? So our 4s are gone now. Right? They've become 1. All right. All right. I got a 2 here. I pulled a 2 out of the 10, so they're gone. Right? And so our 8 technically is gone, and we're left with a 1 up here. Right? I got a 5 here, 5 here. They're gone. Right? So now this whole fraction becomes a 1. This 10 becomes a 1. And I'm left with, right, get rid of this 3, get rid of this 3. And in the end, the only thing left over is a 3 on the bottom. And, right, they don't disappear. They don't become nothing. They become 1s, right? When I cross the number out, they become 1s. So I got 1 times 1 times 1 on the top, which of course equals 1. And then 3 times 1 times, this of course is also 1. And we get that. Simplifying before multiplying. There you go. It's your turn. Right? Break it down into factors that can easily be taken out, and then multiply. That's it for lesson 24.